Welcome to day 11 of the Herbally-Inspired Holiday Challenge. My name's Allison from the Well Cultivated Life, so I am totally psyched to have you all here going through this challenge with me. This is day 11, which means it's officially halfway through. Today, we're going to get started with our plant of the day, which is Cayenne pepper. And we have this card here from the Herbcrafter's Tarot that shows this person, this woman, and it's supposed to be like this time of year, the light's coming in through the window, and she's got all of her ingredients out on the table to make fire cider. And so one of the things we'll be talking about today is fire cider and kind of what that represents and how we almost lost fire cider. It was pretty interesting, and I'll tell you the story about that in a little bit. So, but it comes down to one of these questions, and the word that goes with this is integrity. Okay, so like when you make your own concoctions, you know exactly what's in it, and that is incredibly important when you are creating something medicinal, right? And so, for me, I don't share a whole lot about my own background, but in 2008, I had a job. I left my job. I went in to work with my husband in our family business. But when I did that, I had to leave my health insurance behind. And so at that point in time, I was like, okay, it's all me. I am the one that is now providing all the medicine for our family. And so I became much more serious about doing my herbal studies and about really having on hand everything that I needed to help support my family and everything except for an emergency. So I did my formal herbalist training in 2010, and then I did a flower essence practitioner training, which we're not even going to talk about that in all here. Maybe I'll do a challenge on flower essences. And that is definitely my personal love for sure. But I couldn't afford insurance on my own, so this is what we had to work with. And so that was when I originally really got into doing all my own medicine. So I just think that part of it is just so important. So like, why are you here in this challenge? What is one of your goals for learning to work more with herbs? And is that something that you're hoping for it to get out of this challenge? So just curious. That's curious. What is one of your goals from being here? So I just want to talk a little bit about cayenne. I don't have any cayenne peppers. I mean, I've got like a little ground up stuff. But I wanted to talk about peppers. We're talking about using peppers or using our different herbs for decor. So I just found these at the grocery store. They're a nice red pepper, and those could be easily added to our wreath. You could just basically stick them in, let them dry right on the wreath. Okay, I'm not going to get into that too much today because I got a lot of other stuff to go over with. But if you had the actual cayenne peppers, that would be ideal. The dried peppers, and you can get those. I just didn't have any here at the time. So anyway, cayenne itself is very interesting because when you think about Asian foods, for example, we would not think of going to a Thai place that did not have hot pepper in half of their food, right? And yet those were only introduced to the world from South America after the whole, invasion, exploration of the Western Hemisphere, because they're native to Central and South America. So it spread rapidly around the globe and really made a huge impact on our cuisine around the world. And the hot peppers grow well in the tropics and grow in these areas where a lot of parasitic type of situations, and they're very, very good for that. And it's funny that really that's relatively new to a lot of these ancient cultures to have the hot peppers. Now, the cayenne specifically, one of the things about cayenne is that it's hot, but it's not like Scotch bonnet insanity. Okay, so when we're working with something medicinally, we don't want to get out of control with what we're using. We just don't really need something that's that hot. But the main thing that cayenne pepper is so good for improving your circulation. So what it does is it's able to kind of balance the blood flow. So if you have cold extremities or blood is pooling in certain areas because it's kind of getting stagnant in different areas, then the cayenne can come in and it can help just rebalance that and get the blood moving. And when blood is moving properly, then it warms. So sometimes I think I saw earlier today that Kanita had posted that she likes to put cayenne into her into salves. So like if you had a muscle rub that you wanted to make, and you could put a little bit of cayenne pepper in there. And you need to be careful with this because different people have a big different sensitivities to hot peppers. I personally can't, I cannot get hot peppers on my lips. Okay, like I cannot do that. So I have to be really careful using it. But it's also very good for breaking up like a stagnant type of a phlegm, and so for head colds and for other types of like gunky type of respiratory situations. And in fact, it's so good at moving blood and getting things moving that it is even can be used in the case of an acute heart attack. And Dr. Christopher, who was an herbalist that started in like the 50s, it was a little ahead of his time, swore by this as being an incredibly important herbal tool in his toolkit. So a lot of herbalists would not want a herbal toolkit without cayenne. So but what I wanted to share with you is how once again, we can become our own herbalist, and we can do a lot of things to be self-sufficient and take care of our own health just through creating just a few simple remedies that are not only good for us, but they're also delicious. And one of those is Fire Cider, which I have some here that I made a while ago. I don't take it a lot because, again, I'm not really like the hot pepper kind of person. But Fire Cider is basically it's called cider because it uses the apple cider vinegar. And then the basic recipe is onion, garlic, horseradish, and ginger, and cayenne in the into the vinegar. And then again, you just let it extract the way that we've been showing you with all the other things as well. But I want to tell you a story about Fire Cider that really shows how important it is for you to take charge of your own health. So there was this company called Shire City Herbals, who I don't even think had an herbalist in their company. And they decided that they wanted to go into production to make commercial quantities of Fire Cider. Whatever. Apparently, they did a pretty good job of it. But what they decided they would do is they would trademark the name Fire Cider. And so they went about this. They trademarked the name. And then they promptly started, nobody knew. And they promptly started suing any herbalist who was using the words or the name Fire Cider for their products and getting them, sending out, or, I don't know, arrest warrants or whatever. But like you could not sell this under the name Fire Cider anymore. And yet this term had been used. It was actually originally coined by Rosemary Gladstar. If you've done any herbalism at all, you're familiar with Rosemary Gladstar. She's kind of like the grandmother of modern day herbalism. Started her own traditional medicinals, tea blends. That was her company that she started. She helped to start the California School of Herbalism and so on. So she had been using this since like the 80s, this term. And so these people decided to sue, and not to be rolling over and giving up, a group of herbalists decided to sue back. And they were like, oh, wait a second. You do not get to take our like traditional name. That's like basically saying, oh, you cannot call that chicken soup because we have trademarked the name chicken soup. Okay. That's basically what these people were doing. And so anyway, just to shorten up the story, they ended up winning the lawsuit, which was so amazing. And what they wanted from the lawsuit was they wanted it to just remain as an untrademarkable name that everyone could use. You could use it, you could make it. This like ability to create your own medicine and take care of yourself is so incredibly important. So Fire Cider represents the freedom to create your own medicine and to take care of yourself. This is just so important. It's so important to protect this kind of traditional knowledge. It's so important to, I'm getting a little political here. It's so important to protect these things because we can see now that, especially in this day and age, with so many greedy people and companies and things like that out there, everybody wants to make money off of us. And so I hate to tell you, but if you think that big pharmaceutical companies care about your health, just don't even go there for 1 minute. They could care less. They actually care more about your lack of health so that they can sell you a product that doesn't necessarily cure you, but makes you temporarily feel better. I am bequeathing you with the responsibility of learning this and perpetuating this and passing it on and giving a fire cider to your neighbors, keeping them healthy and keeping these sorts of traditional uses, as we've seen already through the challenge. We're halfway through. There's no weird plant and imported foreign tree that I have brought in here for you to show you. Yesterday was oranges. Okay. So you can maintain yourself at a very high level of health just by using the foods and the herbs in your kitchen. And so I hope that you will really take this on, even if just for yourself and your family. And the thing is, what I hope I have shown you is that it's not that hard to get started to do a little thing. I see Jen, it says that she's a beginner. She's not that experienced and she wants to be more comfortable. And one of the great things you can do is just use one herb at a time. Okay. Just play with them. Have a curious type of a mind. You know, I have a science background, so I'm always curious. I wonder what happened if I put these things together and experiment with that, and how long is this going to take? And you end up with I warned you, you end up with like a whole kitchen cabinet or counter filled with bubbling brews. But that's all right. That's all right. It's part of the fun of it. So just real quickly, I want to get back to the fire cider. You can look up a recipe pretty easily anywhere. So like I said, the main ingredients in that would be you take your apple cider vinegar, and then you add ginger, onion, garlic, horseradish, and cayenne. And again, putting in as much cayenne as you want. And then like this one I made also had turmeric root. It was turmeric root, ginger, reishi mushroom, garlic, onion, lemon, cayenne, horseradish, and parsley. So there's where I added some other things into it. This recipe that I found on Mountain Rose Herbs, they have onion, garlic. They use jalapeno peppers instead of cayenne peppers. Lemon, ginger, horseradish, turmeric, cayenne, rosemary leaves. And then they add some honey to it as well to sweeten it up. So there's any number of variations that you can put for your own use. And so brew up some fire cider and get started today. It's a great thing. What I find with fire cider is that, like, some people, I think Kanita had said, oh, I take like a shot of this every day. And some people like to do that. They like to do it as an actual tonic and take it every day. I find that I don't really like it on a regular basis. But if I am at a certain type of sickness, then suddenly fire cider is like the best tasting thing I've ever had. So then I know, oh, this is the right thing for me to be taking right now, especially when you get kind of like a head cold sort of a thing. It's definitely good for helping to clear out all of that and get things moving. So again, fire cider, make sure you're making some of your own things so you're keeping our traditions alive. Thank you so much for joining me today. Grab some peppers, hopefully cayenne peppers if you can find them. You could even find the dried peppers perhaps. Add those on to your wreath. And then tomorrow I'm going to be hopefully setting up in my kitchen again, and I'll have everything out on the table, and we'll really look at all the different options that you can use for decoration, including both the wreath and for making garlands. So have a wonderful day, rest of your day, everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.